Greetings, sailors, and welcome back to World of Warships. It's Friday somehow. I actually had a week off work, and then it seems to have all been swallowed by other things, and somehow it's suddenly Friday. Not that that's much of an excuse, but it's the only one I've got, so... yeah, just the usual general rubbishness. The first part of the week was taken up by doing my tax return stuff, which... I always leave till the last minute, and that's the only time I can ever get motivated to do it. Motivated to do it. And then I discovered midweek that my UPS battery had died. Quite spectacularly, in fact. It managed to, one of the batteries, like proper little marine lead acid batteries, one of them had actually split its casing on a corner in a slightly worrying fashion. And the other one was bulging a bit, so they were very, very dead. And that's coincided with really bad weather this week, including one power cut, and I wasn't sure the power was going to stay on otherwise, so I've actually had my PC off for most of the last like Wednesday, Thursday, so yeah, it's only now on Friday that, having secured replacement batteries, that I've been able to confidently record. I know that if the power does go off, at least it's not going to bugger up any of my computer hardware. So yeah, it's all just been a week of somehow things coming together. But hey, I've caught up on some of my reading at least. Anyway, that's enough waffling. What we're going to look at today is the Michelangelo, which is the most recent dockyard ship. It's a bit funky looking. We've got SAP secondaries, SAP and AP main batteries. The main batteries are essentially the same guns that you find on the Giulio Cesare and the Andrea Doria, only they're in quad turrets on a tier 9 heavy cruiser, and said quad turrets are in a very funky position indeed. These are all secondary guns, and it does have, I think, the enhanced accuracy of the Napoli. It doesn't quite have the range of the Napoli's secondary gun. So we've got 10.5 kilometers range, which is about the equivalent of it's sort of between a tier 7 and a tier 8 battleship in terms of its secondary range. I don't know if there's any that have 10.5. You get the Japanese that have the Japanese battleships. You can get to about 10 kilometers, so they have slightly gimped secondary ranges, but most of the other secondary range ships are like 11.5. But then at tier 7, I think the max they get to is like 9.5. So I don't know. That was a completely useless observation. That doesn't really have anything to do with anything. I'm just waffling again, and apparently out of practice. And yeah. Anyway, so let's play the thing. It's weird. So this is not a bad setup at all. 2 brothers, no CVs, no subs. One of only 3 cruisers though, but yeah, I can't complain being top tier. That is not bad at all. So this thing, as you might think, not especially sneaky, but 11 kilometers is not bad for battleship grade guns. We've got the 10.5 secondaries, we've got fuel smoke, we've got a heel, we've got hydro. The AA is definitely nothing special. It is an Italian ship after all. And of course, those turrets have got some pretty wacky firing angles. Sort of, I would say, I don't know if famously is the right word, but if you've read any number of Little White Mouse's reviews over the years, you'll know that she cannot abide poor turret angles. And oh boy, I mean, I guess this thing counts. It doesn't even have fully rotating turrets. So if you're like trying to aim behind you, it's even more atrocious. But yeah, you have to uncomfortably angle in order to use the main battery on this. It is kind of wild. And of course, it being SAP/AP only ship, you can't set any fires, and the only tick damage you can get is from torpedoes, because your SAP secondaries obviously don't set fires either. So yeah, we have it's like there's things that could hurt, but there's nothing especially that stands out as, oh, that's going to be a problem to me. But yeah, let's see what the low yang spots. We do have decent range, at least. Decent gun range, nearly 20 kilometers. I think I put the equipment on for that rather than the extra rate of fire, because just I think the awkwardness of the turrets means that you're probably going to want the range rather than the rate of fire, because you're going to be needing to maneuver. And yeah, if you're trying to if you're trying to get in close with these turrets to do a punishing blow, it's going to expose you quite badly. So at least at further away angles, you've got more time to react and angle your own ship accordingly. I forgot what the turret. Oh, there we go. It's not particularly long range torpedoes on this thing. Right, let's see if it's a little bit close, maybe, but we do have the ability to pop the smoke. Of course, that is slightly tempered by that. Oh, there we go. That was a very good SAP hit. That is slightly tempered by the fact that we have large guns. Large guns have a large debuff. So, what is that Cossack? It's not going to last super long, that smoke. No, actually, yeah, there we go. Pop Hydro. Oh, there we go, Cossack. So here's the secondaries in action. The 152s are the effective ones. I mean, the 90 mils are like, they're going to maybe do some damage against destroyers, but not much else. I mean, even the regular HE firing 90 mils are pathetic, but at least I have the chance of setting a fire. Am I going to get spotted? Yes, of course. That's fine. That might not be fine, actually. I might be speaking too soon there. But, you know, we want to test out how tanky this thing is as well, he says, playing badly and somehow making that up as an excuse. That's always my excuse when I'm playing these... playing new ships I'm not familiar with. It's just, I'm going to just do whatever and see what works and see what it can get away with. Right, are you just spotting Kearsarge planes? Maybe. So ordinarily it'd be like, oh yeah, I can fire at that Riga, but no, I really can't because the rear superstructure's in the way. And it's just super bloody awkward. So this is where I think having the extra range is, yes, very useful. But the extra rate of fire would maybe be nice as well. These are not... I mean, they're reasonably fast firing, you know, if this was a battleship, but it's not, it's a cruiser. So, yeah, I don't think I was locked onto that Riga, which is a bit... yeah, right, what are you doing, Minnesota? It's wild. I mean, 8 guns is not, like, the worst number of guns for a cruiser, although it maybe feels a little on the low side at high tiers, but they are big guns. If you compare it to other cruisers that have battleship level guns, they don't tend to have huge numbers. It's just the turrets. The turrets are wild. This is, in its own way, as wild as the Ferruccio is at tier 7, but obviously for rather different reasons. We need to a little bit more to get the other turret there. Yeah, the angles are just not good. They're not good angles. I think the angles are going to put a lot of people off on this thing. It's the manoeuvring that you need to do, and it's not got super duper responsive turret traverse. They're not bad, but it still takes a fair old while for the turrets to actually get around and do what you want them to do. Right, I really am just trying to make a turn here without super duper exposing myself, but that Cossack is obviously close enough to be causing problems. The armour's alright though, as you can see. I mean, I'm still taking a bit of a battering, but yeah, the armour's definitely acceptable, one would say. But yes, the rate of fire and everything else is just kind of... Like, I can see... This is one of the wackier ships we've had, and maybe one of the overall less capable ships we've had as a dockyard reward. Yeah. I think if you paid more than the bare minimum of doubloons for this, commiserations maybe? I don't know. Some people might have just wanted it because it is such an odd looking duck. It is a strange vessel. We kind of do need to hold on to this cap because we absolutely have nothing on the other side. We have 2 ships now. I've also just noticed we have lost more than a quarter of our team and haven't actually killed a single enemy ship either, so that's not so good. That is absolutely not so good. Oh, and we also have... is that the same hood as before? It might be. Hood, what are you doing? Right, well, we're about to see if the secondaries will do something again. Because this team is getting kind of crushed. This team is getting kind of crushed. I mean, it happens that way sometimes. You never know what it's going to be like when you're playing live, but yeah. This is not good, the fact that we don't have a single... Like, half our team's dead and we don't have a single kill ourselves. That is very oof. Very, very oof. Right, no one's spotting. This is kind of annoying. Just going to try blind firing. Oh, I've got a defense fire at least. Right, we could try nose in. There's the Akatsuki coming round the corner as well, which obviously is marvellous. If we could just kill 1 ship, that would be lovely. Like, most of my damage came from 1 salvo so far, which is sort of sad, really. Anyway, there go the pew-pews. This is so bad. This is legitimately so bad. And also, honestly, I'm just trying out a secondary captain. I use Sansonetti on the Napoli, but I don't, like, a lot of the time in cruisers it just ain't worth it. Like, there needs to be, I've said this before, there needs to be like a manual secondary skill for cruisers, because it's just not worth the points at the moment, or worth the equipment space, generally speaking. You could just be doing so much better. Right, I can get that rear turret on this guy, but just... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing, but I don't care what ship I would be in. Like, there's no saving a team like this. This is terrible. This is legitimately, it's just like a really bad team, and there's not a lot you can do about it. We killed 1 ship at least, so yay! I'm gonna manage to slide between these 2 torpedoes. It's fine, I'm fine. Everything's fine and it's all okay. Right. You're now coming around the corner. We'll see if the... Oh, I'm being focused by a lot of things. Oh, we're about to lose on points anyway. Wow, that was so bad! What was this team? We at least killed 1 thing, but... Jeez, that was so bad. Oh my, okay, well, yeah. That was not a glorious start. That was definitely not a glorious start. I survived and managed to get a dreadnought though, but I really don't know what to say there. That was bloody awful. Okay, so we've gone from good matchmaking to unpleasantly spicy matchmaking. a lot more cruisers and is it the same amount of destroyers as last time? I don't know. A lot more cruisers anyway, so fewer big chunky targets. I don't know if the SAP is going to be more effective, or will I maybe just get more chance to use my AP if I can catch broadsides. We'll give it a go. That'll be more reason to use it this time round. I don't even know how much of my damage last time was from secondaries. It won't have been that much though. The 152s aren't like super fast firing. And even the 90 mils don't really fire as fast as you'd think they would for their small caliber. Anyway, our sub is here, so their sub's probably here as well. There's also Perry Yamagiri's in play. Anything else super noteworthy? Carriers obviously are going to be annoying. Okay, first thing in range, it's the Clausewitz. Let's actually get some SAP on the go. I'm targeted by a couple of things, but we've got space enough to react, so that's not bad. HE incoming, and yes, there is the 2501. My range on that is 7 kilometers. That's not good. That feels very not good for a tier 9 cruiser. Right, one ricochet and like a superstructure pen. The AP, I don't know. We'll see how I feel about the AP on this. It's certainly not going to be anything like as effective as the German heavy cruisers with battleship caliber. They tend to be rather good. Especially the Siegfried. I've always been a fan of the Siegfried with its glorious 15-inch guns, but I do like those German 15-inch guns a lot regardless. Some of my favourite guns in the game. And with this angle, it might be better to go back to the SAP. Oh, we're not getting a lot of traction out of the AP shells there. We'll go back to the SAP rather. So the turret traverse does at least keep up with your rather unwieldy ship traverse. Oh, there's only it's more the switching targets side to side where it suddenly can become an issue. Oh, GK took, that's like Yamagiri torps. He must have eaten a whole bunch of Yamagiri torps there. Very unpleasant for them. Oh, and there's your lad in the submarine, which was there somewhere? Don't know if that's far away enough, but that's as far away as I can drop him. Was an enemy, I said Michelangelo there, Michelangelo. A Michelangelo, that one. Right, let's focus the wounded things first, rather than give them any kind of chance to slink away. Don't super like my angling right now, but they're focused on other things than me, so I can take advantage of that. Be a little mercenary. Right, bye-bye Kerr first. I just had a real bad day there. Oh, you're right there, Schlieffen, just kind of chilling behind a rock. Can you even shoot anything from back here? I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh no, you can shoot things there. I was gonna say I'm not sure what the Schlieffen plan was, but you know, then he did shoot, and clearly he could shoot from there. And yeah, that kind of you just kind of ruined my joke, but I made it anyway because I'm that kind of person. Oh, that's the wrong button. That's just out of range. I've actually been one of the. I mentioned I was catching up on reading. One of the things I've been reading is a sequel to The War of the Worlds, which apparently is a thing that exists. Stephen Baxter wrote it back in 2016, 2015, something like that. It's like officially endorsed / authorised by the H.G. Wells estate. So yeah, it's a thing I never knew existed, and it is surprisingly good so far. Right, bye submarine. We can. It's a Yue Yang still, but we can maybe be a little more pushy here. I don't want to get ahead of my teammates. This Schlieffen is being pretty cautious. I've almost got my get out of jail free card. And there's fire again. Okay. Oh, double fire. Lovely. How's it going with the rest of the map? We've thoroughly lost that cap. Our midway might even be in trouble. Guess we shall see. The Jinans is down. Yue Yang still down here somewhere. That's obviously Yue Yang smoke. Don't think the Ibuki is going to live too much longer. No. Yeah, the midway is pointing the wrong direction. Yeah, that ain't great necessarily. Let's have a go at the Yue Yang. The problem with the SAP shells is they're just not as effective as HE shells against destroyers. Have a little bit of a handicap there. Right, I'm gonna guess that's the Iowa looking my way. Clausewitz is a little more concentrated elsewhere. Also, yeah, maybe Hydro isn't such a bad thing to use right now. Yeah, that turret angle awkwardness really is very awkward. It might be worth going into main battery accuracy rather than the secondary range, to be honest, but I'm sticking with it just for the time being because it can be fun on the Napoli. So I'm sort of going by the principle of, well, maybe it will be fun on this ship as well. Right, that will be the Michelangelo. We're going to waste part of this smoke, but we will get to use it. There we go. Be nice to get that Yue Yang though. The one thing I would change about this to, like, the fundamental design is what it is, and doubtless, you know, there's some wacky plan that, it might even say in the little blurb thing, I didn't even check that, but there's probably some wacky plan some naval architect wrote up that is the basis for this thing. But yeah, I would definitely have liked it to have much longer range torpedoes. Like, it's not like they're super fast torpedoes. Oh, actually no, they are quite fast. Ha! I didn't even check that. I just assumed Italian torpedoes therefore slow, but no. Shorter range and faster, which is actually unusual for an Italian. Which, there you go. Shows how much attention I was paying to the torpedoes when I was looking at it in the port earlier. But yeah, I kind of wish it had the longer range, slower torps. I just kind of assumed they were shorter range and slower. Shorter range and faster is like, yeah, okay, but I would rather have the long range ones. Ones you can at least have some chance of dropping stealthily. It's a good thing I was heading in that direction. Right, that was Iowa shells coming in. Oh, actually, the Schlieffen's been so cautious and managed to just eat several of those. Oh dear. That didn't kind of work out, did it, Schlieffen? Dear, well, that was a little bit of a whoopsie. Right, I think we should hold fire while we're finishing this manoeuvre. This is also not going very well, but at least we're killing some of the enemy team this time. It's certainly going a bit better than last time round. Should we maybe try AP while we've got that broadside-ish Iowa? Oh yeah, that was definitely not enough lead. The Clausewitz is also being a bit of a pain over there. Who very much does not have an issue trying to set me on fire. Right, let's switch over to you. I don't know if these are going to hit the Iowa at all. Yeah, 2 overpans. Not super impressed with these so far, but I don't know if I've exactly had ideal circumstances for using them. I've also got the Michelangelo kind of trying to sneak down the middle, maybe. This just does not have the rate of fire for this kind of engagement. There's the Malta. Planes maybe coming for me. Oh, hello, Michelangelo. Oh, there we go. That was a chunky hit, so that was a bit more worth it. That might have worried him slightly. Triple fire. I wish I could at least kill that guy before I get sunk. This is almost just like this is not going to be a win. This is not going to be a win. It really isn't. Well, it was even less damage than last time. We did better as a team overall, but this was still a pretty poor showing. We still got pretty well pounded. And not in the fun way. Right, so let's try instead with the aiming system, see if we can get a bit more consistency out of the main battery. I don't think I'm going to change anything else. We're going to keep the gunfire, the main battery range thing. Although, I mean, we could just... what would that bring it down to? The downside is it gives us extra turret traverse, which I don't really want. That would probably put it up to like 30-ish seconds or close to 30 seconds. It's a pity I can't see what the change would do in-game. Like, when you're doing this screen should show you what the change is going to be. Instead, you have to go and look it up on a third-party website. Now, let's keep the range for now. And maybe a different commander. That does still have the torpedo damage benefit though, but that's more useful for Napoli's torpedoes, so I might... Sanzonetti's got nice beneficial skills, but I might just try a different commander that doesn't have that kind of secondary loadout. Right, so we're going to give this a go with my Lepanto captain, who's 21 points. I was very tempted by heavy SAP shells, which would actually bump my main battery detectability up to 14 kilometers. But I think that would actually benefit top grade gunner. Yeah, it does have the secondary battery reload, but it's the main battery effect that would be interested in there, that we are interested in there. But 12.2 is still, like, if you're getting that close, that you would want the extra punch. So I don't know, that's a bit iffy as to whether I'm actually going to get that much use out of it. We'll try it out. We might be better off with just the extra concealment. But yeah, the rest of it's nothing too controversial. We don't have any torpedo skills in there. because I don't think you're going to be relying on the torpedoes that much. So yeah, we'll give this a go, and if I really don't like it, I will try a different setup, I guess. I don't know, we'll see how we do with this. CVs, once again, we've got a little bit of extra defensive power against them with the second line skill that gives you an extra, was it an extra 25% on your AA boost. They used to be, you can't do it anymore, but they used to be, you used to be able to hold a menu, and this is like, and it would just flash up in the corner, and now you have to do this, and it doesn't tell you how much of your AA power you've got left, which you used to be able to do, and I don't quite know why they've removed that. But anyway, yeah, it would be handy to see occasionally how your AA guns are doing. Because if you've been peppered by lots of high explosive and had them all knocked out, you know, that could be valuable information for you to know. Anyway, yeah, that's us all getting scouted by the United States, so that's fun, obviously. Well, they've got Piemonte on the other team. I did get as far as unlocking that, and I think I've got the credits to buy it now. But I did, I've mentioned this, I think. I did a grand reset of basically all my lines, bar a few, in January. Yeah, I've almost certainly mentioned this, but, you know, in case you didn't know, so there's a lot of my lines where I'm now just regrinding them for research points, because it would be nice to not have to whale again and just have a big pool of research bureau points they can actually use and put towards stuff like the Kitakaze. We'll actually get rid of that line to make things a little bit cleaner. That's obviously shrunk a fair bit now, 7.7 kilometers. Okay, the Shima and the light. I'm not spotted, but we know roughly where they are. They must be at the edge of the circle. Yeah, right, there we go. Yes, spotted. So they're sort of there somewhere. That narrows it down quite a bit. But yeah, if these, like, I'm not pushing in there without any kind of scouting going on, and we've still only spotted like half the enemy team, so there could be a massive blob of ships there I don't know about. So yes, it would be nice if our pair of destroyers would do something here. Hayate's been spotted. Can understand not wanting to necessarily bump into the Forest Sherman. Yushoshimi, I mean, it's stealthy, but it's capable enough. And then Jaeger is also very stealthy, but doesn't have smoke. So yeah, that's also a slightly wackier one. I suppose we're getting to the stage of the game now where they are implementing the slightly wackier things, just because a lot of the oh, it's the Jaeger, okay. A lot of the sensible designs, the actual existing designs, like not all of them, but a lot of them are in game already. And then we're left with the slightly wackier concepts, which is the state that World of Tanks has been in for quite a while now. The only way to go from there is to have really a separate game with modern tanks. So I'm struggling to think if modern tanks would fit in the same way that they've tried to make modern tanks fit in for War Thunder. Now the disadvantage of that skill is it only kicks in when something is spotted within that main battery range, as opposed to something being unspotted within the main battery range, because it would be a way of telling if somebody was close. Right, there's the Forest Sherman. I don't know what the ship is doing exactly, but anyway. Right, come on, turret first. Come on, turret first. Yeah, I think we want the well, this, well, not completely terrible. I think we want the SAP for this. when they're angled like that. Right, we now have blobs of our blob of ships is bumping into their blob of ships, which is a slightly unusual situation, perhaps. My secondaries would definitely be going off right now. Oh, Mr. Shimi. Yeah. How this is going to go, I don't know. This is a slightly unusual contest at this tier, to be quite honest. Pop of the Sejong. I don't have the shell switching skill anymore, so I'm going to have to remember that. It's sort of a useful one on the Italians quite often. But there's only so many captain points to go around. That's it. Just still the Forest Sherman that's targeting me, yes. Right, well, this has cost us quite a lot. The Shima seems singularly unwilling to do any kind of spotting work, which is not good for us. Right, we do actually want SAP again now. I guess we can try and hit the Forest Sherman, but I don't fancy my chances of actually doing it. Something like that's always going to be small and annoying. Yeah, we could really do with some ready destroyer work here. Groningen at least has done something. I know I'm not saying that with the proper amount of in my throat, but yeah, my throat's still a little... I've got the new Sashimi down here as well. This is just Destroyer Central apparently. Is there Hayate down? No? Hayate's still up north, okay. Yeah, if I try doing that, it's going to lead to me properly having to clear my throat. Right, even that, just a little bit of turning. I've lost my angle completely. Are you going to run aground? Oh, he's about to run aground, that would be useful. Here's where the longer range torpedoes would come in handy. And I wouldn't just be having to try and blind fire. Right, Hydro back in 30, Heal is back in 30. I'm looking to get myself unspotted. There's the camp. Torpedo angles are not bad actually, but yeah, this is, I don't think there's really any point going for torpedo skills. Like, there just isn't. You've only got 3 torps. They don't have a particularly spectacular range. Like, the damage is good. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, there's not enough of them. Reload's not quick enough to be really warranted investing in that, I don't think. Right, this Pommern is taking a pounding. Is it Pommern that's got the 15-inch guns? Can't remember. I think it is. It's quite a nice ship. There's the Yon Forest Sherman again. There's basically just the destroyers left down at this end now. This Sherman's being rather annoying. I just have to hope I can outlive the fires and whatnot. This being a large cruiser, of course, it does have the penalties that come with that when it comes to being on fire. 4,000 and then hit by a torpedo. Okay, Sherman, you've managed to... not Sherman, Shima. Managed to do that much at least. Right, you can't smoke, at least, so that's something. There's the Sherman Dorps. 6k, but no module damage. You're basically never ever going to get to do module damage. Hydra's going for another little bit. Not sure if you're trying an ambush here. Guess you are. I think this torpedo's coming in useful. Right, that unfortunately has run out at just the wrong time, and there's going to be more Jaeger torpedoes on the way soon, I'm sure. So let's just try and twist and turn and be unpredictable. Okay, Jaeger torps hurt less than Yushimi torps. I'm going to prove the point by taking both of them. Oh, here's where the turret placement is really quite awkward. Well, we got him. It's actually the secondaries that got the finishing blow, so that just leaves the Jaeger. Gee, Shima, it should be nice if you would... Oh, you're very low health now, okay. I will temper my sarcasm. But having the Eagle help out would be nice. Oh, there you go, never mind. It's more his rate of fire with the torpedoes that's worrisome than the actual individual torps. And here's where you don't want to have to angle to fire your main battery, but you have to angle to fire your main battery. But yeah, my secondaries again. Right, now I'm not spec'd for secondaries. Now it's the match when the bloody secondaries are doing all the work getting the kills. Yeah, of course, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Right, only 80k though. I mean, we've certainly had a way more active game in this one. But, yeah, this was just kind of an encounter that doesn't normally happen at tier 10 though. It's just this absolute pile up in the middle of a cap. That is such an unusual thing. I think this is going to be the game. Yeah, we are 20 seconds away from winning this, and they don't have a lot of ships left. So, there we go. This was a far more interesting and entertaining game, but still only 80k damage. I maybe could have used AP once or twice more against that Schlieffen, maybe? But most of the rest of what I shot at was destroyers, and you might as well use the SAP for that. So, yeah. So there we go, that was a far more wacky game. 2000 base XP, I mean, I guess, you know, doing damage to destroyers, it's the percentage of the HP that matters, and of course it's a lot easier to do that to destroyers, so yeah, even though it wasn't a particularly impressive amount of damage, it was still against targets where that's still, you know, it gives you decent XP, so yeah, okay, that was a bit better. Maybe the slightly more accurate main battery did help there, but I don't know if I'm going to be taking this out for fun very often. And even though I like my heavy cruisers, my cruisers with big battleship guns, just the awkwardness of the placement of them, and that lack of torpedo. Like, even if you had the option of choosing torpedoes, so you could have the more traditional slow but long range Italian cruiser torpedoes instead of these faster, shorter range ones, that would be quite nice. That would be something. Like, if I was going to change anything in particular, it would be that. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I will absolutely take your suggestions for captain and equipment setups, because I'm not convinced anything I've tried so far was super optimal for this weird design. So that's it for the Michelangelo. Yeah, it's odd. It's very odd, and I don't know. I'd be interested to see what other people think that did manage to grind this for themselves. Or were you put off? Did you just look at that turret placement and think, nah, that's not for me? Because I absolutely could understand that. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can do all the usual things down underneath it, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.